What's up again, everybody? Well, I made a video yesterday about, learning to love yourself and accept yourself for who you are and whatnot. And it's not always easy. I mean, it's a difficult world out there, and we're always going to have issues where we put ourselves down and beat ourselves up. And I kind of been thinking about that over the last day here, and I wanted to make, an addendum to the video. So I decided I would make it a short series. I have no idea how long I'll even stick with it, but they won't necessarily come out in any order. But I'm just going to call it the Human Nature series, because I've often wanted to consolidate some of these thoughts into a playlist or a group of videos. But what I wanted to touch base on today, and the reason why I don't do more videos like this is because I find them to be too much like a self-help type video, which I find cheesy, which I used to love. But I'm going to explain, I went through this phase where I was really into, self-betterment and learning how to, get over your fears and your ego and all these different things. And then I got to a point where I realized I'm critical of myself, right? Critical of myself to a fault, where if I feel like I talk about these things, it's like, who am I to speak about love? Who am I to say I have experience or know better than anyone else on these things? Then I learned about imposter syndrome. Imposter syndrome is basically, let's say you inherit a large fortune and then you tell yourself you're not worthy of it. It can be much worse. You work really hard for some money and you say you're not worthy of it. It's not just money. What it is it's this idea that we're not worthy of the things that we do have. As if, man, or if a person's famous and they say, I shouldn't be famous, I'm not worthy of it, it should have been someone else. It's the direct opposite of an extreme ego, but it can also manifest as an overactive surface ego, if you will. So anyhow, not get off track here, I really wanted to talk about another aspect of self-love, which I had totally left out of that video, which was you must forgive. And forgiving others is just such an important thing. It's bad enough that we don't forgive people, that we do know and that we love and we have in our families and friends. But sometimes we can't even forgive ourselves. And that can be even more crucial. Forgiving strangers is the best thing that we can do if we have an issue with someone, because it's not worth our time, right? To focus on these things. I mean, is it really worth your energy to hate someone? Because honestly, it takes more energy to hate than it does to love. And it's definitely not as rewarding. But to love the self, you have to forgive others and yourself. And it took me years to figure out how to do this with some people who had wronged me in the past. You see, all of us are emotional people. And having emotional intelligence, as someone the other day said that so-and-so was intelligent, don't recall the person, and I said, academics are not intelligence in all completion. Some people believe there are 7, 9, or 10 different types of intelligence. Natural intelligence, musical intelligence, emotional intelligence. If you don't have a grasp on people intelligence and understanding how society works, then no matter how smart you are, you won't be able to apply those in any meaningful way for other people. So, we are all emotional, so understanding emotional intelligence is key, but this is where it gets, I guess I'll step into another little factor of this, which is social media. And social media, by design, keeps you focused on it. And other people want your attention, so therefore the people with the loudest voices will always have the most to say, and also will have the most money to get you to believe whatever they want you to believe. There's a really good documentary on Netflix about it, about the social media problem. It's called like the social dilemma, I think that's what it was, social media dilemma, something like that. But that it's out of control to the point where propaganda and fake news, which this has been proven through studies, that fake articles are shared on Facebook up to 6 times more than real articles. I mean, this is just the world we live in now. And I'm getting to a point, it has to do with forgiveness. When we have so much of this crap thrown in our face, we start to forget who we are. We become data points for brokers for your information, right? And then we start talking about going down the rabbit hole and all this good knowledge we've found, which is basically a way for us to find something out, to try to seek something. And what I've found is there is no rabbit at the bottom of the hole. There's none. And if you go too deep, it just caves in. Believe me, it's not worth going and blaming everybody else for our problems. But we have so much division right now, we don't know where to place the blame. So much confusion because of so much crap that we've decided to make up our own stories. And it's like one big prison experiment. We've created enemies where there previously was none. And it's just like what's happened with the media and the corporations over decades spending billions of dollars just to learn how you think, how you feel, how you shop, what you do, what you like, what you don't like. And the point of all this is that the whole time we're being bombarded with advertisements, with brochures, with mail, with email that's telling you, if you don't have this product, you're not worthy. It's always been blatant. In the past, it was, only cool doctors smoke Camels. The way that people have been told they're not worthy unless they wear a certain clothes or certain brand name, it's to be expected. Kids even get made fun of and beat up in school for having the crappy clothes. I got made fun of plenty. Just because I chose to wear weird stuff, but it's not. We live in a world where we judge each other according to the most ridiculous things. And if people get harassed, teased, or beaten down by others, then they grow up with a sense of insecurity, which can manifest into guilt. And this guilt, means that we can't forgive ourselves for something we didn't even do. And it happens to a lot of people. But it's not just our parents or siblings or schools that do it, or the bullies. It's the media. It is the, corporations that are advertising to you. And, I don't want to get into the facts and figures. Let's just say that even suicides among young females, teenage females, is like doubled. Up to 180% rise in a certain age groups. It's since 2011. It coincides perfectly with social media. And so we're feeling crappier and crappier about ourselves. And it's important that we don't take the criticism to heart. There's always going to be some hater out there who wants to say something negative. And they're everywhere. There are trolls everywhere on the internet. They existed before, but they bite their tongue because they'd have to look you in the eye to say it. Nowadays, every coward can just scour the internet saying nasty things to people. You can't let that take it to heart. But that's not even the big issue. It's the fake news, real fake news. And so all this leads to guilt, and we feel like we aren't worthy. And therefore, this guilt eats into our ability to love ourselves. So letting that guilt go is super crucial, and realizing you're going to take some criticism in life. If you love yourself and you say as much, and you care about yourself, and you treat each other, your others and yourself with respect, and eliminate your guilt, I guarantee you this, you'll be happier. But I also guarantee you this, you'll have more critics than you've ever had. Because every time I've mentioned these things to people, there are people who want to bring you down with them. The ones who want to say, oh, but you are guilty. Think of religion and original sin. This idea that you're guilty from birth, for things you didn't even do. It's not to jab at religion. It's rather to say, we have this because it's something that's inherent within being a human. That we all feel this guilt that we don't even know where it comes from. If you let it all go, sure, you can start to think that you can't do any wrong and it can lead to an ego. But just letting go of the unnecessary guilt, you'll start to see that what guilt is even worth hanging on to. So the last thing I want to leave you with is a question. Something I heard years ago and it just came to mind earlier, which is, do you forgive other people easier than you forgive yourself? And if so, why? So have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks for your comments. Thanks for your words of wisdom. Thanks to my patrons. And thanks to my friends and family out there, whoever might be watching. Peace out. Take care of each other. Take care of yourselves.